Hello and welcome to another episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. I am Burton coming at you from the crypt solo tonight. Tonight is it's going to be a weird episode. It's going to be short. It's really just an update episode to let you guys know what's going on. But first, I'm going to take a little drinky poo. And we're going to fucking spark this bad boy up. Fucking huge shout out for anyone that listens to this. It follows any of us hosts on Instagram. You'd know that my name on Instagram is Wrathchild NLG. And that NLG is you can look up NLG Gardens or NL Gardens or something like that on Instagram too. And it's a thing we're all a part of. And shout out to them if you are in Michigan this weekend and if you are going to the Michigan High Times Cannabis Cup in Clio, Michigan at the Auto City Speedway. Be sure to stop by the Light Sky Farms booth and say hi to the NLG guys. They will be there. And yeah, they got some good stuff. They got a good booth. And it's going to be a great weekend for anybody that heads out there for sure. So if you're heading out there, be sure to stop by, say hi, tell them Lost in the Dark podcast sent you. Reason why I will not be there. It's kind of the main topic of conversation tonight in a sense. We will be on about a 2-week hiatus. In terms of new episodes, at least, starting tomorrow, or starting, after this one, I will be on a family vacation, unexpected family vacation, actually, for me personally, to fucking Scotland. We're going to Edinburgh and Inverness, and most importantly to me personally, we'll be making a stop by Loch Ness. Now, for me, that's virtually a spiritual experience. Like for any listener of this podcast, you should know by now that not only am I really into the fucking paranormal, but also I come at it from a very Fox Mulder sort of viewpoint, and it's just that I want to believe in these things. Doesn't mean that I do. And it certainly doesn't mean I'm willing to forego any facts or reason, you know what I mean, for an answer that I want. But to actually be going to Loch Ness, like, I remember when I was a kid, and my mom would always take me to the library and stuff. And the only part of the library that had any books at all I was even close to interested in. Like, I didn't care about any other books in the entire library. I just went straight to the section that had books about Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, Chupacabra, fucking, and all of the above. You know what I mean? That's ghosts. That's what always fucking drew my interest personally. And so to actually be going to such a famous place in that regard, I remember being a kid, and one of the first times I ever saw the, infamous picture of quote unquote Nessie that, obviously turned out to be fake later on, but still, like, that image had such a cultural impact for such a long time. To actually go to the place where, even if that image was faked, to go to the place where, all the mythology and the folklore surrounds. It's going to be something else. I am really looking forward to it. So we will be on a hiatus in terms of new episodes. I am, maybe not, though. There is a chance maybe not, because my sister, Katie, will be with us on the trip. She has been on the podcast before, so maybe her and I will do an episode or two while we're over there or something on the iPhone. It'll be a little lower quality audio, but maybe we'll get something out. That would be awesome. We might do something like that. But if we don't, it'll probably be about 2 weeks until the next episode. However, I do want to make clear, if you follow Lost in the Dark on Lost in the Dark podcast on Instagram or Facebook, I will be fucking on that. I will be adding to the story, putting up pictures like every fucking day of the trip. So if you want more content, be sure to follow us on those other platforms, and maybe we still will get a podcast out, but if I can figure out how to do it off the phone, pretty much. And maybe even if we don't get it out, maybe I'll at least get it recorded and put it out immediately when I get home. But in any case, be sure to, if you want some more content, be sure to follow us on those other platforms. I will be all over them. If anyone wants to reach out or anything like that, feel free. That would be awesome to answer any questions about Scotland that you may have. I'm gonna try to make it to maybe a little music venue or a record store or something. You know what I mean? To see what those are like on the other side of the fucking world. You know, it's also been 15 years since I've been on an airplane, and for the first time in my life, I am experiencing some flight anxiety. So that's going to be interesting for sure. So first time in 15 years I'm getting on an airplane. Not only that, I've never been out of the country of the United States besides when I went to Canada. And if you're not from Michigan, you may not know, but if you are, you do know. Everyone from fucking Michigan has been to Canada. It was, I don't remember exactly the year. It was like 10 years ago or so. Before that, like 10 years ago or so, they made it a law to where people from Michigan had to have a passport to get into Canada. Before that, all you needed was a Michigan driver's license. So everyone from fucking Michigan went to Canada, especially the lower part of the state, because in Canada, the drinking age, I think, was 18, and here it was 21 for a long time. So a lot of kids on their 18th birthday would go over the bridge in Detroit to Canada. It was a very common thing. Now, however, marijuana and prostitution are both legal in Canada, so now I'm sure that's what people go over the bridge for. But I've been to Canada, and so Toronto is the farthest east I've been from Michigan in my entire life. The farthest west, honestly, Toronto would be the farthest north or east I've been in my entire life. The farthest west would be Wyoming. I went on a great road trip once through South Dakota and Wyoming and back with my grandparents in Preston. And then the most southern I've been is Key West, Florida, the most southern point of the United States. I have been there twice. Actually, technically, the most southern I've been would be even farther south of that, but not on land. Back when I was in the Scouts, we went to the Florida Sea Base, where we were on a fucking sailboat for a week out in the water, and we couldn't even see land most of the time. But one time we did come into Key West. But I've been to Key West again since then. So I have been, that's as far south, east, and north and west I have ever been in my life. So, this will be the farthest from home I have ever been by far. First time ever crossing an ocean. First time in 15 years on a plane. Like, this is a fucking wild one for me personally. For sure. But I am looking forward to it. I am, since I was a fucking child, since I was 7 years old, I found out about Loch Ness. I've wanted to go there. So, to actually have that opportunity is very special, and it's something I do not take lightly, and I am really looking forward to. And I am really looking forward to doing something like this with my family. We're going to have my parents, my sisters, and my grandmother. And that's, at the end of the day, that's going to be something that I always look back on. You know what I mean? This is going to be something that I will never forget. And so that's gonna be really cool. I think it's gonna be a cool experience. It's gonna be weird. So right now, as of me recording this, it's 11:38 p.m. right now. And in Edinburgh, Scotland, it's like 5:38 a.m. So they're 5 hours ahead of us. So the whole jet lag thing is going to be an interesting experience too. I've never experienced a time change like that. So that's going to be interesting. But in any case, yeah. So if you want to follow me along on the trip, me and my sisters and everybody else, follow Instagram, Facebook, and I post it all to Instagram. But I have the accounts hooked up, so everything I post to Instagram gets posted to Facebook as well. So be sure, if you just have a Facebook, check us out on there. But if you have an Instagram, definitely that's the one that I'm actually going to be on Lost in the Dark's page a lot more frequent. So yeah. Hopefully we'll get an episode out if I can figure out how to do it while we're over there, but we shall see for sure. But honestly, yeah, like I said, this is going to be a short episode. Besides that, I really just wanted to get in here and let you guys know what was going on, because if you're a regular listener and you go 2 weeks without an episode, you might be like, what the fuck? And I didn't mention it on the last episode, and I meant to. So yeah, I did want to at least get in here real quick one last time before I go, and in the crypt, one last time in the crypt before I go, and mention all that. Also, I meant to do an outro for that last episode with Aaron. Be sure to listen to that. It was a really, really good episode. We had a really good discussion about Godzilla and about some of the heavy metal articles that have been going around lately. It's one of my favorite episodes for sure. So definitely check out episode, I think, 71. Jesus Christ, I can't believe it's 71 episodes already. But be sure to check that out. It was a really great episode. And I forgot to do an outro for it. Be sure to follow Bogwraith on all social media platforms and YouTube, even Twitch. They live stream practices sometimes, and they will be starting to do that a lot more often, actually. Also, Aaron, find Aaron Gray. I tag, he'll be tagged in the last post about episode 71. So if you go to that post on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see his name in both places. Follow him and follow him on YouTube, because he releases his own drumming videos that are fantastic. So be sure to check those out. And yeah, follow Bogwraith, check them out. They will be the next show I will be attending almost right after, just a few days after I get back. We'll be back at the Sanctuary with the breathing process, Boreworm, Bogwraith, and more. More will be at that show. It's I think there's like 2 or 3 other bands. It's going to be a great fucking show. The Sanctuary is a great fucking venue, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that's coming up, and then that's so yeah, be sure to follow them. You know what though? Not just them. Follow Recorruptor, which is another local Lansing band, which is fucking fantastic, and I hope to have them on this podcast sometime soon. Pay attention to your local scenes, people. Like, I just discovered this new band. I don't know how new they are, but they don't have much out, so they must be fairly new. They're called Savages with a Z. All right? Spell Savages, but instead of an S at the end, it's a Z at the end. All right? Find them on Instagram. I think they found Lost in the Dark on Instagram. They liked one of our posts or sent us a message or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But somehow I found them on Instagram, and they fucking blew me away. They're from Brazil, and they are fantastic. They released their first full-length last year. I believe they're working on another one. They got 2 videos and a lyric video out on SAVAGEZ on Instagram and YouTube. On Instagram, it's a capital Z at the end. Be sure to check them out. But they're from Brazil. You know what I mean? Like, they're a band starting out. Like, pay attention to your local scenes, people. Support your local music. Support your local stores. Support your local art. Support local, period. Like, it is such an important thing, especially if you live in one place, if you're not someone who travels around a lot. Even if you do. You know what I mean? Like, it's important to keep it local. I think that's something I've always really supported, especially when it comes to music. And you never know. Like I always say, the next fucking Iron Maiden, the next Slipknot, the next Megadeth, the next Metallica, the next Lamb of God, the next Judas Priest, the next AC/DC, Bodum, fucking Devil Driver, anyone, Cannibal Corpse, might be in your town right now. Slipknot. The next Slipknot might be in your fucking town right now. Playing at tiny local shows for $5 a fucking ticket, $10 a fucking ticket. It's shitty little bars with shitty little sound systems, but they put on a killer show every night. So pay attention, because you never know what you may find. Be sure to check out your local stuff. Trying to think. Michigan Metal Fest is coming up. Slipknot. Yeah, all that stuff is way after I get back, though, because I'll be back. I'll actually be back in Michigan on June 18th. And then, so yeah, pretty much. There's not a whole lot going on the rest of June after that, besides the Bog Race show. But I'll be sure. Yep. So honestly, I guess that's about all I can think of at the moment. If any of you have experiences or memories or anything this or that about having to do with Loch Ness, be sure to reach out. If you have any paranormal stories, having to do with ghosts, Dogman, Bigfoot, anything you got, we want to hear about it. Be sure to reach out to us on lostinthedarkpodcast@gmail.com, or like I've said, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, iTunes. If you listen to us on iTunes, please leave a review. YouTube, leave a like, a subscribe if you like what you hear. Yeah, I think, trying to think if I got anything else for you guys, but honestly, I think that's going to be about it for this final episode from the crypt before our first ever 2-week hiatus. But yeah, if you don't think we're going on a hiatus from content, because if you follow the Lost in the Dark podcast on Instagram or Facebook, be sure to keep an eye on the story. The story will be starting as soon as this episode drops Saturday morning. So because that's when the trip begins, where we leave from Lansing, Michigan, to pick up my sister Katie in Detroit, Michigan, and then over the bridge to Toronto, a recreationally legal country when it comes to cannabis. So let's see, and that's just the start of the trip. So we're going to have a good time. Be sure to follow on there for more content. Be sure to follow Bog Wraith. Be sure to follow Recorruptor. Be sure to follow Savages from Brazil. And check out your local music scenes. And if you listen to and in any way, shape, or form support this podcast, as always, I fucking love you to death. I will talk to you all again in a couple weeks. I love you to death, people. Good night.